All right, guys, so in today's video, we're going to be going over this one account that blew up on social media, and within 2 to 3 months, it was already generating 100K of revenue. And it is a super niche, super interesting product that honestly, I never would have thought of, and I think that you will find very interesting as well. And I can't wait to dive deeper into talking about the product itself, and more importantly, the genius social marketing strategy behind it that helped to accelerate the product's growth. Also, before we get into this video, there's a high chance that if you're watching this, you are very interested in learning how products grow and market themselves on social media. And if you are, we actually created a tool called the Content Marketing Blueprint, which is a database of SaaS products that have successfully grown and marketed themselves on social media. We think you're going to like it a lot. And in general, on this YouTube channel, my partner Andrew and I, we love diving deep into analyzing social media strategy behind big accounts, big products as well. So if you like that type of content, make sure to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So today I want to talk about this really interesting app that I came across that's actually been really crushing it on social media. It's not a super popular app, not the biggest account, but it's in a super interesting niche. And I just had to reveal this and expose it to the world because I think it's one of the most clever ways of finding a niche, building a product catered toward that niche, and then making banger content specifically engineered to go viral amongst that niche. And at least from what I've seen on social media, where this developer, this builder talks about the product that they're building, I think within 2 months of doing this, they were already making about 100K revenue in 2 months, which is insane. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Shoot me.
All right. So the app is called Bracelets app. It's about friendship bracelets. And the core premise of it, incredibly simple. You know those little friendship bracelets that don't want to stereotype, but typically girls in like elementary school, middle school, high school, they make these friendship bracelets for each other, and they trade them.
I made those bracelets too. You know, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I have friendship bracelets with the boys as well. You know,
this is what I get for stereotyping and assuming. I fucked up. But essentially, we know what these friendship bracelets are. And growing up as kids, we would build these in person and trade them with one another. But all this app does, it is a digital way for you to build those same friendship bracelets and trade them with your friends. Yeah.
Digitally.
Ridiculous. So simple. And it's just like such a simple idea. And this is already doing 100K a year of revenue in 2 months. Actually, as of right now, I think that the product is no longer in development and it kind of died out. But at its peak, it was doing 100K yearly revenue, and it was insane. And the marketing strategy behind it in particular was what really caught my eye, because if you go and look at their TikTok and their Instagram profile, it is strictly catering towards Taylor Swift fans, Swifties. Because I guess I didn't know this, Andrew, I don't know if you knew this, but friendship bracelets are a huge thing amongst the Swifties. Did you know that?
Is it a huge thing among the Swifties, or just because the general target demographic that likes Taylor Swift will also conveniently like friendship bracelets? Which one is it? Is there chicken and egg scenario?
I think it's specifically towards Swifties. Like Swifties in particular, it's a huge thing. I think maybe Taylor Swift is a big friendship bracelet girly, and it's like,
okay,
it's almost like the hidden lingo amongst the major hardcore Swifties about making these friendship bracelets. And the most interesting part, I say this app idea, I know an image comes to your mind, you're like, I know what the founder is. It's a teenage girl who grew up as a Taylor Swift fan. She wanted to build something for her friends.
It's a passion project.
Nah. Hell no. This is like a dude in his mid to late 20s, an Asian dude in his mid to late 20s. I just know him as like a gangster product builder. He's so good at building product and seeing these opportunities. Once again, I don't know this guy. I've never spoken to him. I have mutual friends with him, but I personally have never spoken to him before. I don't know if he's a real Swiftie or not, but I think that there's a very high chance this person is not a real Swiftie at all. And instead, he was just like, I see this opportunity. I'm going to become an expert about Taylor Swift. I'm going to talk to my friends who are Swifties, make them tell me everything they know about Taylor Swift, so I can make content engineered to go viral and make people download my app so I can make money off of it.
Smart. It's genius. It sounds like when I was doing drop shipping a couple years ago and I had to become an expert in a niche very quickly. Your boy was expert in kitchen tools and bathroom appliances for a very long time. You know, I was selling bidets, I was selling shower handles, I was selling a bunch of things you would put in your shower. At a certain point, I was selling shower supplies catered towards the elderly, being like, we're here to help the shower experience for old people a lot better. You know, it happens when you see the money, all of a sudden everything in that niche becomes very interesting and you become expert in it very quickly.
Absolutely. And I think what's interesting is the way, if you go and actually look at their content, there's some variety of content. Like I would say they do a pretty good job of doing what we typically recommend, like an 80-20 principle, being like 80% of the content is really just towards attracting people of that niche. And then the other 20% of that content is actually more directly talking about and plugging the product itself. So in terms of, actually, this is a strategy that they apply to both their content, the 80% content to attract the users, as well as a 20% content to convert the users. Essentially, they would open up these videos with hooks like only real Swifties know about this official, unofficial bracelet app. You know, I think especially when you cater towards these like really feral, these like really diehard fan bases, everyone's like, actually, I'm the #1 Taylor Swift fan. Actually, I'm the #1 K-pop fan, you know? So it's like you create this feeling that like almost like you're calling out their identity, being like, only real ones know this. And they're like, okay, what is this? I bet I know it. I'm a real Swiftie, you know? And then there would be like the content that's specifically geared to convert users into downloading the app. It would just be like, only real Swifties know about this official friendship bracelet app. And then they would just go through it and they'd be like, oh, I actually don't know what this is. Or, oh my God, I need to download this now because I'm a real Swiftie. Or for the other 80% of the content where it's strictly geared towards attracting viewers into that video just to grow that audience, it would just be like, only real Swifties know about this song right here. Can you guess this song? Which is a pretty repeatable, infinitely repeatable piece of content because you can just basically go through her entire discography about her entire songs categories and then just print out content infinitely, you know?
I'm looking at content right now, and like you said, there's a split here between content that's just attracting the target audience, in which it'll be Taylor Swift content, her at a concert, only real Swifties know this, Travis Kelnick, I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly.
Bro, Travis Kalanick, that's the Uber founder. You mean Travis Kelce?
Hey, Travis K. We're just going to call him Travis K.
All right, clearly
both
Andrew's
killers
not a
in their
Swiftie.
respective industries. All right, we just put it that way. My boy Travis K in both industries. But specifically, the Swifties Travis K, I think it's very smart in terms of content, attracting Swifties, coming to the page, getting people to follow, getting people to come back over and over again. And the second type of content where he's directly plugging the product. It shows what the product does, exactly how to create the bracelet, and how you can send to a friend, which is always the type of content that I recommend people to create when starting out. Because if you're able to go viral with a video that is directly about your product, and in this case, generally your product will need a massive wow factor to it and actually solve a huge pain point or really, strike an emotion in your target audience. These type of videos are best for your account because you are literally going viral for a thing you're trying to sell to the audience. In this case, he has found a way to do both. Have content go viral just for the target audience, for pure entertainment, getting people onto the page, getting people happy, getting people coming back, and also videos directly putting a product that people are like, oh my God, yeah, how did you know I will also love a friendship bracelet to send to a friend of mine? But last but not least, I just noticed he has a third type of content where it's a product plug without really selling you on the product. And what I noticed in one of these videos is he will also do the same hook, like only real Swifties will understand this. And then he'll show his app with the bracelet in it, and then the bracelet will have some word on it. Like I didn't get this video right here. The word is who Taylor Swift is anyway. I don't really know what's happening. I don't know if there's a reference there or whatever, but I think it's also very smart because the third type of content where you're not really plugging a product so people don't really get the ick, being like, oh my God, here's another product plug video. Because here's the thing, if he only made product plug videos, people don't like it. But he's able to make this middle ground of entertaining content, but also it's like a miniature plug that eventually, may not everyone, you're not going to convert everyone. Not everyone's going to know exactly what the product does, but there's going to be that smaller subset of people that are like, oh, what is this thing behind him? And they click on the account. They're like, oh, it's an app. Oh, that's how he did it. So I think that content he knows is also very smart.
By the way, if you're a founder that is interested in marketing your product on social media, then you want to check out the contentmarketingblueprint.com. It's a database of SaaS products that have successfully grown and marketed themselves on social media, and we track the accounts and all of their formats that they're posting, so you can filter down all the accounts and formats by their niche to see what exactly is working for other products in the niche that you're interested in. You can check it out at the contentmarketingblueprint.com. Yeah, and I think it's actually something more SaaS products or more businesses or companies or products that are trying to market themselves on social media should adopt. It's this idea of making content that's not always about your product, because I think a lot of people, a lot of first-time founders, or not even first-time founders, but a lot of founders and builders who want to figure out how to crack social media, they kind of have a short-term vision, a short-term strategy with it, which is just find the viral format, milk it like crazy until it no longer gets views, and that's it. And don't get me wrong, that's a viable strategy. You can get tons and millions of users for that. But I think the Bracelet app actually shows a really good like long-term strategy as well, because a huge chunk of their content is just general content that general Taylor Swift fans would enjoy. Like not all of their content was about the bracelet, And I think this is important because if you find one piece of content and you just milk it to no end, you're not giving opportunities for users who follow your account to re-engage with your account again and again and again. So it's like they find out, they see your shtick one time, they know what the punchline is, and it doesn't really get much funnier. It gets less funny every single time they continue to see that content on your account. And that leads your followers, your viewers to no longer engage with your account again. So you have less of a chance to maybe convert them into a user for your product. But when you adopt this much more longer term strategy where you have a lot of content that's not strictly about your product, it provides people that maybe the first time they see your product, they're like, oh, this isn't really for me. But then as they continue to see your product, continue to see your content, they're like, okay, actually, maybe I'll give this a shot. And I think it's really important to create content to get people who already follow you to keep engaging with your content rather than just making one type of content for the rest of your account's life. And then once someone follows you one time and sees that one piece of content, they're not really going to be incentivized to watch it ever again.
Yeah, because ultimately every format eventually dies out. You know, some formats have a longer longevity than other formats, but every format, no matter how viral it is, with how fast social media moves nowadays, especially, everything dies out eventually. So it's always smart to keep doing what works. It's kind of like business, right? Keep doing what works, but eventually you need to keep innovating, or else you're going to be Blockbuster and Netflix is going to overtake you in 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I also want to mention about this SaaS product in particular, I've downloaded the app. I went through the entire flow. I know of the founder.
Didn't know you're a Swiftie like that.
Hey, I'm not. Definitely not a Swiftie. I mean, nothing against Swifties, but that's just
you got to send me a bracelet now.
I know,
what's going on here? I got to get the app too, right?
Yeah. Like, I think people are immediately going to be like, oh, I just need to make like a couple viral videos and then an app and then it'll be great. But the thing is, don't get me wrong, that's possible. But when you look at the app, you can see that the app itself was engineered so well, such that it was engineered such that one person joins, they immediately start inviting their friends. And because the app and the product itself was so expertly crafted, it had a viral network effect. In the industry, in the product building industry, there's this term called the K factor, which is essentially a number that represents how many a user will end up sharing your app to, like how fast it's going to grow. And I bet that this app, its K factor was probably like 3, 4, 5, because making bracelets solo is not what's fun. What's fun about it is making it together with friends and trading with your friends. Yes, the viral content most certainly did help in getting a lot of downloads, at least initially, but also the product was engineered so well such that even if they didn't get a lot of downloads from viral videos, each download counted for a lot more because the creator of the product knew that I know that if I can get one person to download it, on average, they're going to share it with at least 2, 3, 4 other people.
That's very true. Honestly, shout out to this guy. What he did was pretty smart. Again, I don't know if he's a major Swiftie or he just saw a business opportunity. But I also think another thing that worked out very well for him on social media is because he is so polar opposite of what you think a Taylor Swift fan is. Like, we're to tokenize a little bit right now, right? A Taylor Swift fan, generally you think about blonde American girl, teenage, maybe up to like mid to late 20s. This is an Asian dude, mid to late 20s. Not your typical Taylor Swift fan. But I'd also think because of that reason, there's such sharp contrast to what people will associate with being a Taylor Swift fan. He becomes so interesting to watch on social media. And I think a lot of times there's something we can learn from this. People on social media are so used to seeing what is common, what is normal. So if you're able to do something that's polar opposite of what people are used to seeing, and I don't know if this was like on purpose by him or he just discovered by accident. He was just like, I'm gonna get on camera and just make videos. But I think half of it, or a part that attributed to the success, was because he was such polar opposite to what people usually associate as a Taylor Swift fan. The Taylor Swift fandom found him very interesting. It found him very fascinating to watch. It's novel. It's like novel. I like how this guy's so into this as well. That's awesome. Let me go watch this guy. And I will say, there's a lot of times I followed accounts just because the person I'm watching was such polar opposite of what I was used to seeing in that specific niche industry and the content that that community makes.
Totally agree.
There's something I always say: find a creator or hire a creator or be the creator that is within the niche, within a target audience. I still very much believe that, because it just makes your life easier. At the end of the day, like, that is still the right strategy method to go about. It makes everything easier. People tend to like to listen to people that they look like, they feel like, they associate with, they relate to. But once in a while, you could stumble across opportunity where being the polar opposite of what people are used to does work in your favor.
It's like the videos where, like, hey, if I were in a video and I started speaking Chinese, people would be like, duh, like you look like you speak Chinese, right? But then if you see like a white person start speaking Chinese in a video, people are like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's like Xiaoma, you know? It's like, it's just the shock factor is there. The surprise shock factor is there.
100%. I never been shocked, or white people have never been shocked I speak English, so I don't know what happened there.
Exactly.
I love it.
But yeah, that's the product. I think it's a killer product, killer founder, killer developer, and it's really interesting seeing the other things that he's working on now. It's almost like he's taken his learnings from the Bracelet app to build his next thing. It's almost like Bracelets app 5.0, but we can talk about that in another video because we're running out of time here.
Perfect. I like the app, man. Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
All right. See you guys all next one.
All right. That's it for this one.
Peace.
See ya.